Me too. So I want to get started and start out by saying, number one, I am not a professional. I am not a counselor. I am not a therapist. I am not a doctor. I cannot diagnose anyone, nor can I prescribe any medication, nor can I give any legal medical advice. Not professional. I am not perfect. I make mistakes. I am not perfect. Also, I'm a child of God. Just saying. All right. So we're going to talk about narcissists. And being married to one for over 13 years, you have to learn what battles to take and what wars to win. It's a win or lose situation. Some narcissists are very, very aggressive, very mean, very hurtful. Exactly. Pick your battles. That's what I was trying to say. Some are just big bullies. And only you that have been in the situation are really going to know the difference if they're really a bully or if they're really going to hurt you. And first of all, again, I can't tell you what to do. I am not here to do that. I am not here to make your decisions for you. That is going to be on you, not me. So first of all, does anyone know what the actual definition of a narcissist is? Or what you may think it is? I'm actually waiting not for yeses, but to actually have you guys answer that question of what a narcissist is. I want to know what your understanding what a narcissist is. Showing no empathy of others. Okay. Oh, my stars. I'm not asking you to name drop anything, just definition without names. No names. Oh, my goodness. Not talking about. All right. So the actual definition of a narcissist is a person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. They think the whole world just revolves around them, right? Just them, no one else. So having said that, I want to tell you that, first of all, narcissist is a personality disorder. It really is. It's a personality disorder. Yes, a person who thinks they're always right no matter what anyone else thinks. A mental health condition which can cause people to have extreme, yes, self-importance. Very good. So, oh, fudge. Hold on. I forgot to close my door. Get out, cat. If I don't close my door, I end up with Callie in my lap. Okay, so first of all, a narcissist is a personality disorder that makes a person unable to empathize with others. Excuse me. Very much selfish, yes. And it results in them perpetually seeking attention and admiration because they feel the need to feed themselves with these things, right? So they generally have low self-worth and they want to bring you down to their level. And they will do that by manipulating you, calling you names, gaslighting you even, making you think that you're losing your mind, right? So that's how they're going to do stuff like that. So if anyone has witnessed any of that, please put a 1 in the chat. Now, again, I want to remind everyone, not only am I on Clapper, but I'm also on my live YouTube channel called Sale. Me too. So tonight we're going to talk about taking your power away from the narcissist. It is very challenging, but it is possible to protect yourself and any children that might also be involved in that. Now, they are dangerous. And because they are emotionally manipulative, as well as prone to aggression, you really want to take extra care. So, first of all, you will never change them. Never can you change them. You can only change how you act or react or what you say or what you do. You have no control of anyone else. If you agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. If you communicate with them at all, if you have to talk with them, if you have to communicate with them, please make sure that they are clear, blunt, and to the point. You have to be that direct. Do not beat around the bush with them. Don't do that. And whatever you do, do not share anything about your life with them, because they will turn that around and manipulate you and use it against you. And short. Oh yeah, keep it short. That's right. So something else you want to do also is to set boundaries with them. And to set boundaries with them, and you don't want to use the word boundaries with them. You want to use the word, I don't know, policies. We're going to have some policies. This is what's going to be. And you can do that by making sure that you and, whomever you're with, or, kids or whatever that you have, they don't respect boundaries. But that's where you're going to step in and go, okay, I've told you this, so you did that, I'm going to walk away, or we're done with the conversation. I'll get to that here in just a minute, Dawn. I promise I'll get to that in just a minute. So it's very crucial that you clearly establish these boundaries or policies. Stop it. No electricity. Oh my stars, I did not see that. And you need to clarify what you will and will not allow in your interactions with them. So if you do not set boundaries, they're going to take even more advantage of you. Yes, but that's where you have to step away. Just because it's their way or no way, you're going to have to learn to step away from them. So one of the things that I've been reading up on, and I wish I'd known this before, is to make sure that you write it down. Text, email, whatever the best way to do it. Do not put it on paper, because they can erase the paper, they can rip the paper, they can shred the paper, they can burn it, whatever. So you want to either text it or email it, and you always want to keep copies of everything that you send. But then when we try to step away with the abuse sets in, they will start beating you. It's a possibility. I know mine is. Proof is useful. Yes. Mine did, but not everyone's like that. Some are just big bullies. But with the abuse, and again, I am no professional on this. That's when you want to talk to an actual counselor or therapist. They can give you better advice than I can. I'm just giving you what I found on the internet. And some of it is my personal experience that I had with my ex. You want to make sure that when you do these policies, that I'm telling you, I know, that you talk about physical space. You don't want them directly in your face. You want to have that physical space. You want to tell them that you refuse to allow them to attack you verbally. No hands, no touching, no nothing like that. Keep physical space. Restrictions on when and how you communicate. I told you text only and walk away if you can. You want to put time limits on the conversations. Look, I'm going to give you 5 minutes and then I have to go, or I have to do this, or whatever the case is. And you always want to end the conversation when they cross those boundaries, or when they disregard your policies. So those are just a few tips of what you can do. Now, if there is anyone in here like myself that have been with a narcissist and you want to input in that, I can't even add input in, I can't even talk now. By all means, please do so as I'm doing this. Don't think that I know everything, because I do not know everything. Like I said, I've just been doing a lot of research. You have to, at all times, protect your children. Yes, at all times. And that's hard. That is also true. And that's why I said, please make sure you talk to a counselor or a therapist, or, have the cops on speed dial or something. Yes, great. I was going to get to that, but make a plan to leave. Call a friend that's safe. Make sure that you have a vehicle or something to get away. Money. If you don't have money, there's going to be resources out there for abused people, men and women. And men get abused too, guys. Don't think it's all women, because men get abused too. There are some men that are just that were brought up the right way, that they don't hit a woman, that they don't strike them. They're like, they stay because they want to protect their kids from the person. It's hard. Yes, emotional abuse is just as hard. Yes. I would really prefer a physical beating than the emotional abuse that I got, because the physical scars, they heal. The emotional ones, they really don't. It takes like forever. I get that. It's hard though, especially when the person loves the other person. They try to leave, but go back. Been there, done that. I've gone back several times because I was scared of change. I was scared because I didn't know what else was out there. Bruises do go away. Yeah, and that's one of the things with my ex is that um, the real problem that I had is I couldn't talk to any man, not in passing, not, can't even say hello. I mean, I could not talk to anyone. And this one day, his best buddy, I'll call him Lucky Dog because that was his nickname. Um, Lucky Dog and his new girl asked me to help them because I had the vehicle and they didn't drive up there, help pack, and get her out of her abusive situation. I thought, okay. So, mind you, back then I didn't realize that I was in an abusive relationship. I just knew that what she told me she was in. So I helped them out. Her son was there helping pack, and he said something funny, and I laughed. Well, Lucky Dog told my husband, again, ex-husband now, and yes, exactly. Men are taught to be fixers, and it is very hard for you guys to get away. Yes, women, it's hard for women too. Um, Most time you're trauma bounded. Yes, with a narcissist, exactly. Trauma's hard. Sometimes it's like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're brainwashed. My ex would always tell me, as fat as you are, no one else is gonna love you. So you're lucky that I love you the way that you are, fat and all, because you're fat like a cow. He always told me that. And then he'd give me a box of chocolates. You start a mini series on this where? On Clapper? Okay. Um, so anyway, so back to my story. So I talked to a guy, and the guy made me laugh, and it was her son. He was younger than I am, so I was in my 20s and he was like early 20s, and I was in like mid to late 20s. And it was at night. I was holding my baby. She was just turned 2, and I'm holding her like this. And I'm a big girl. I'm almost 500 pounds. I was like about 350, 400. And I said, "Here, help me up." And he went to grab my hand and he twisted it behind my back. And I had the baby like this, because I'm holding her. And he starts pounding on my head. And I turn and he starts pounding on my back. And I'm eventually able to put the baby on the couch so she doesn't get hit. And I know from experience to not make any noise, because the more noise I make, the more he hits me. Not to mention I had 2 other kids upstairs and I didn't want to wake them. So he's hitting me and he's hitting me. And I just have tears running down my face. And I look up and I gasp. That's the first noise I made. And he stopped to find out why I gasped. And he looked up and there were the 2 kids standing right there on the stairs. He yelled at my kids and said, "Go to bed." And he looked at me and he says, "You will get them to bed now." And he finally helped me up, and I was sore. Oh, my stars, I was sore. I could barely move. But I went up the stairs, got all 3 kids to bed, and he told me to go to bed myself. And so I went in there, and I don't know about you, but I take my shirt and I go off like this. At least I used to. I don't do that anymore. And when I did, he caught my neck with my shirt. And so my arms were up like this, and he caught my neck with my shirt, and he starts choking me. That was one of the hardest things I had to live through. And being a narcissist, you will have all sorts of different people. They can be kind to you one minute, mean to you the next. They'll buy you chocolates one minute and tell you that you're fat the next. You have to know who you're dealing with. And I cannot tell you each person what they're going to be like, because I won't know. I only know what my ex was like. And my ex was a big bully. I really don't think he would have ever hurt me, because I finally did leave, as you can tell. And he's still alive, and so am I. But you have to gauge the situation. I believe we did depression on my YouTube channel called Sale. SAIL, which is Surviving Abuse in Life. You can go ahead and check that out over there. Right now, we're talking about narcissists, um, but I'm more than happy to talk with you that later if that's fine. So anyway, and one of the things is that really bothered me is that when we'd be out in public, he was like the best husband, the best father. Everyone loved him. He thought that they thought that he was just so charming, so wonderful, right? But behind closed doors was like a different matter. I always loved when people were around because he was kind to me. He was loving. He was attentive. The minute that they were gone, it was like the devil himself had erupted. Um, so you need to also do self care. You need to make sure that you um, set boundaries, that you also respect those boundaries that you set or policies, depending on how you want to do that, because you need to prioritize yourself. Because if you don't, it's going to lead to that's true. They won't show the world the true colors that they put on an act. And if you do something wrong, oh man, you bet when you get home, chaos is going to ensue. Um, so you must make sure that you meet your own needs before theirs and do whatever you have to stay mentally and emotionally healthy when you interact with them. They do. Yeah, they punish you in private when you're away from the people. That's true. And they do act like the victims. Oh, woe was me. So when I wrote my book, Abuse It Is What It Is, he actually bought the book, which was hilarious that he bought it. And then he contacted my youngest daughter via Facebook Messenger and started laughing and saying that, all the lies that I put in there, it's like, they're not lies. Make you feel like it's your fault. Yes. They manipulate you very well. Yes. And they isolate you from, oh, yes. I was so isolated. My best friend since second grade, I had to push her away because he told me that she was trying to come between him and I and trying to break up our family because she told me that I could do better than him. And he made it seem like she wanted him, even though she didn't. But of course, I was brainwashed thinking, that was true. And so, yeah, they do. They will isolate you just so that way they have more control. But you need to get that control back. And I can't tell you how to make that control come back. I can only tell you ways of what um, and they'll always say, "Oh, try and leave. You won't find anybody better than me. That nobody will love you like them." Exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly what my ex would say. Exactly. So, any questions so far? Anything else that you would like me to touch on as I'm looking all this up as we're actually doing this? Because I want to make sure that. Yes, I understand that. My ex-husband made me believe no one wanted me around and that I was bothered. Yes. Exactly. No, and they do. They make you feel that nobody wants you around, that you're a bother to them, that you need to stop bothering people. Or my biggest one was stop telling lies about us. And they thought that I was lying and that he was telling the truth, even though what I said was true. I mean, just horrible things. And if you've ever been lied about and nobody believed you, it really brings you down. Yep, they ruin your reputations. Yeah, yep, that's true. Always in the head. Yeah. Dealing with a narcissist can lead to depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. you name it, PTSD, especially PTSD. I was recently diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety, guys, just recently. Um, no, they don't do anything for you. Nope. So they haven't diagnosed me with that yet. I haven't gone to full counseling, but I was diagnosed with PTSD. I don't have the C in front of it just yet, but I'm pretty sure I do. But we'll wait and see. So one of the things is you have to stop pleasing them. Do not please them, because when you start pleasing them, you're playing their game and they're always going to win. Um, it's not going to happen overnight. It's and for those that don't know, CPTSD is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It's complex. Where was I? Yeah, but if you start talking about yourself knowing that they hate that, it can also cause problems. So be careful doing that. Oh yeah, they do enough for you to keep you satisfied and to keep you two together. Yes, they love bomb you, and then they take it away. Yes. Yep. Okay, so a narcissist's entire game is about getting you to meet their unrealistic demands. Yes, they're horrible and later to your whole world. Yes. You don't have to please them, and quite frankly, it's nearly impossible to do so. Instead, direct your energies to satisfying yourself and meeting the goals that you set for yourself. Yes, honeymoon cycle, exactly. And again, I can't stress enough, do not share your life with them. They will turn around and manipulate you. They are great manipulators, great manipulators. They hurt you and try and buy your love with gifts, food, promises of whatever. Yes, yes. Um, okay, so this is a really good sentence here. Statement. It says it's crucial to remember that defending against narcissism is not about winning an argument. It's more about maintaining your self respect, integrity, and emotional well being. And as challenging as it might be, managing a narcissistic personality in your life is really not impossible, but it's challenging. Yes, exactly. It can be that way too with people. And we're so used to it that we're like, oh, that, that's just mom, or that's just dad, or that's just the way that person is. You just need to accept them as they are. I'm guilty of saying that, folks. That's just who they are. No, we need to stop that. We need to stop expecting or allowing them to do that to us, and and then making it seem okay to other people. And I'm going to use Matthew as an example since he's one of my mod. They want you to feel lucky to have them knock you down. Yes, you do make excuses for them. Just getting dressed and getting decent is a trick. Oh yeah. But I'm going to use Matthew as an example and say, Matthew, that's just the way she is. You just need to accept her for the way she is, even though she called you names, even though she made you feel small, that's just the way she is, right? No. When we do that, we're allowing them to belittle us. We're allowing them to cross boundaries that we really shouldn't be allowing. And we're making excuses. Don't make excuses for them. They have to stand on their own 2 feet. They are adults. And if they can't stand on their own 2 feet and take a backlash, I'm going to say, of their disorder or their actions or whatever, then that's on them. Yes, my ex always told me what to wear. I couldn't wear makeup, which I was allergic anyway, so it didn't matter to me. I couldn't wear makeup. I couldn't wear certain jewelry because somebody gave it to me. Um, I always had to cover myself. I mean, I swear, even in the summertime, I swear he wanted me to wear turtlenecks, right? Um, Even talking to my brother, he'd get upset, and it's like, that's my brother. But I couldn't talk to any guy. So it says here, with the correct understanding, tactics, and persistence, it's possible to establish boundaries and resist falling into the trap of the narcissist manipulative games. Um, it's hard. And it doesn't matter how much evidence to convince your narcissistic spouse or anyone. Yeah. And if they don't get diagnosed as being a narcissist, it's not you. It's not you. They have rights, unfortunately. Oh, hang on one second. There we go. I gotta have that up. Okay, so I touched on that. Of course. Why would they tell anyone? I mean, who tells their doctors I'm a narcissist? I manipulate people. No one. But if you can get them in to be seen by a therapist, you might have a chance. I'm not saying it'll always happen, because they're very clever manipulators, and they use others to achieve their end goals, whatever that might be. So let's see, what else do we have here? They do, they lie. Um, is there any questions? I really don't have anything else on this right now. I was doing some research and I found a couple of websites. So if you want the websites, let me know and I can find a way to get them. You know what? Maybe I can put them in the chat, the mental health group live or group. But I'm telling you, you guys, it'll be difficult, but you need to set those priorities, those boundaries. Sometimes it's hard to stay away from toxic people, especially when they're your parents. Especially when they're your parents. My mom was a good one at that. My mother, oh my stars, that woman. You know, but yeah. Counselors and therapists can't change narcissists. Yeah. So, any other questions before I end that topic? Because I do have something else that I would like to bring up if there's nothing else. So, if you guys have questions right now, please, or if there's something you want to say, please say it. Oh, you're lucky. Mine did. But then again, maybe you're not so lucky because of the fact that the the emotional abuse is just as bad, really, if not worse sometimes. Yes, I get that. They do use your past against you. When I first met him, I told him how my stepfather abused me sexually. And he told me, this is what he told me. It's okay. I still love you even though you were a whore. But you know what I heard at 17 was I love you, nothing else. Ouch. I have to admit, I never had any broken bones, but he knew how to hit me so I didn't go to the hospital. He knew where to hit me so I didn't go to the hospital. Sometimes it takes someone from outside that we trust to say, hey, this is not normal. This is not good. And then we're like, oh my stars, you're right. That's true, Sue. That is. I understand. It's a guy thing. I get that. My dad's daughter's son lied about something serious, and my sister found out the truth. But I'm still. That is so true. Yes, narcissist people target others with low self images, basically of who they are and who of those who've already been abused. That is so true. But I'm still a problem for not letting it go because it's something that could have ruined someone's life and my daughter's life. Ouch. That's hard, sweetie. So sometime tomorrow, I will put the two links that I've used for tonight in our Clapper mental health group live. That's hard too. They have a way of making someone that feels that they know that they're worthy, making them feel unworthy. You're right. They do have that talent, that skill. Scary thought. Any other questions about it? Oh, yeah, especially if you believe you love them, you're going to believe them because they love you, right? I mean, who's going to hurt you if they really love you? I hate to tell you, the ones that hurt you the most, the ones that love you the most, right? Or supposedly. Very good at it, yes. I have a book on manipulation. It's a June Hunt book. Um, and this right here is probably a good book for everyone to get. Yes, it is a Christian book, but there's a lot of good information in here. It is. Manipulating is one of the biggest things with a narcissist. Exactly. They will take and turn everything, making you think that you are going nuts, basically. All right. So I'm not seeing any questions in here. I really appreciate everyone helping. Um, if this has been helpful for you, please put a 1 in the chat. That is true. Manipulation and narcissist does go hand in hand. A 2, so it wasn't helpful for you. And again, sometime tomorrow, I'll put the 2 links that I found that I was reading off tonight in a minute in our mental health group here on Clapper. And for those online, if you want it, let me know and I'll put it in the chat room in there. All right, so I'm going to change topics now and talk about anxiety. So Monday, I had a doctor. Was it Monday? Monday, I had a doctor appointment. And the reason I did it is because my youngest daughter said, Mom, I really think you need to go see a doctor. And I went, why? And she's telling me all the stuff that she went through. And she was diagnosed with anxiety, PTSD, depression, ADHD, and something else. And she's telling me, I was like, dang, that sounds like me. Because I have to be, my mind is busy. It's busy all the time. I'm not hyperactive as in the fact that my body moves because my body just sits. I don't really move, but my mind is just constantly on the go, 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 go. And I don't have, what's what I want to say? I'll call it anxiety episodes where you like almost have like a meltdown. I don't have those, but my anxiety is different. My anxiety has a little black ants that run through my head that if someone without warning yells at me, or if I think I'm going to be in trouble, or anxiety attacks, thank you. Um, or I don't know, I have to go over the bridge or whatever. My mind just gives me those negative thoughts like, you're going to die, because I'm going over that bridge. The bridge is going to collapse. That what that I'm stupid, that I can't do anything, that and in my heart it really feels like it's just going to come right out of my chest. It pounds so much and so fast, and I get anxious to the point where I'm constantly, oh, horrible ants. And so I told my daughter, I says, I don't know, I've never been, never been diagnosed. Really? So I don't mind going out in public, but I have to know there's a time limit and I can go back home. This is my safe zone right here. And every morning I take my husband to work and I come home and there's 2 bridges that I have to cross. And every time I cross those bridges, my hands are gripping that steering wheel like we're going to crash. And what am I going to do? Right? Which is wise, very wise. And so my daughter knows this, and she tells me, Mom, you need to go get tested. You may have this. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. And so I called, I made the appointment after much talk, and I talked to Matthew about it. I'm going to do this. Monday comes, and I was this close, guys, this close to saying, I'm not going. My heart was racing so fast. I really felt like my feet had, oh, thank you. I really felt that my feet had lead in them and I could not lift them up. They were that heavy. I felt like my legs just couldn't move. I was just screaming in my head, right? And I didn't have my granddaughter. I called my daughter and I says, I can't do it. She goes, Mom, you can do this. I'll be with you. I'm like, because I didn't have anyone to go with me. I didn't have anyone to figuratively or physically hold my hand. And she goes, Mom, just call me on the phone when you get there. I'll be there with you. So I said, fine. I went. I was almost late, which is hilarious. So I get there, and I had her in my ear, actually this ear, but I had her in my ear. And she says, okay, just, Mom, I want you to put your feet on the floor. I want you to feel the floor. I want you to put your hands on the chair. And she's going over all the anxiety stuff that I teach here, right? But all of a sudden, it's gone out of my brain because there's nothing in there now. All that's in there is those little black ants. And they're telling me, ha, we're having a party because you're doing this. And, and you're stupid. And I can't believe you're actually here. And I almost wanted to leave, right? But I was like, just focus on my voice, Mom. Just focus on my voice. You've got this. I want you to feel the chair. I want you to breathe in, breathe out, do a deep breath. Come on, Mom, I'm doing it with you. So she's working me through all this, right? All the stuff that I teach here just went out the window. And I'm sitting there in panic mode going, oh God. So the nurse comes in and she says, let's do your weight and your vitals. And I went, no. I don't want to do weight. I don't want to do vitals because I already knew that my blood pressure was skyrocketing. My heart was just about beating out of my, hope it's not too bad. You let me know, girl. I don't like emergencies. Um, exactly. When you're going through that, it's like everything goes out the window and there's nothing, and I mean nothing there. It's like blank, right? And I'm freaking out. And my daughter's like, Mom, you've got this, you know. So the doctor finally comes in, and I can't stop twisting my hands, and I'm telling her about it. All of a sudden, I'm tears just. I don't cry, folks. Not like that. I don't cry. Okay, this girl has dry eyes. She does not really, you know. Yes, my daughter was teaching me the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The 5 things that you can see, the 4 things that you can hear, the 3 things you can smell. I mean, feel. 2 things that you can smell and 1 that you can taste. Exactly. And so my daughter was like, okay, yeah, it's called grounding. And so she's walking me through all that. The doctor and I are talking, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm, you know, I couldn't sit still as I'm telling her some of the stuff. And of course my daughter's in my ear telling me to tell my doctor some of the stuff because I forgot. Completely forgot. And I want to say that if you are around someone that's going through that panic attack, that anxiety attack, remember these things: the 5 things that you can see, the 4 things that you can hear, the 3 things that you can feel, the 2 things you can smell, and the 1 thing that you can taste. Help them realize that. Sometimes it helps holding their hands. I probably wouldn't because they might squeeze tight, but I'm just saying, have them hold something. Matthew, would you like to come on up and share your story of what happened? Because sometimes hearing it, knowing that we're teaching this and that we have the issues too, I want you to know that you're not alone. That's one of the reasons I'm telling you guys this. You are not alone. Sometimes it doesn't work for me of getting up and walking around.
Yeah, sometimes that's not even possible.
Mm-hmm.
I know from less than a week ago, Llewellyn was my call after I, settled. But last Sunday, I was hosting an interview show that me and Big Tank host together called TMI. Shout out TMI, Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. We were hosting that. We were interviewing someone, and don't know why. Those ants just started hitting me. Had nothing to do with the live we were doing. We were interviewing Vibrant Vina, amazing creator on here. It was a great show, and all of a sudden I started thinking about the fact that we don't have a car right now. We're looking at a new car, but even looking at the new car, that's stressful, making sure the money goes through right, getting a ride out to the new car. Then I started thinking about a issue I'm having in family court with my ex-wife. Then I started thinking about how I had to miss work because of that and how it's my new job, and it made me kind of feel panicked because it's a new job and I already got to miss days for stuff that I don't even want to have to deal with. Exactly, the racing thoughts, the ants, the automatic negative thought syndrome. Once one minor negative thought grabbed a hold in there, all of a sudden, all the other ants started following. That stream of ants that just come and ruin your picnic. There's never just one, is there? It was full of them.
Yes.
And amongst other things, those were just a few of the examples I threw out at you guys. I probably thought of 20 to 25 different things that caused me to suddenly, and this was just this past Sunday, caused me to suddenly overheat. Someone said, get up and walk around. I struggled to make it from my seat to my bathroom that's on the other side of this wall on my living room, our downstairs bath. It's 10 feet away, and I could barely get there on my own. And I'm talking, I had a full-blown anxiety attack, full-blown panic attack out of nowhere, to the point the room started spinning on me. Even while I was in the bathroom, I got violently ill, to say the least. I was pouring sweat, but yet I felt, I could feel my own skin. I was cold to the touch, but I was soaked, and I felt hot inside. I'm telling you all of this in case none of you have ever had one of these. Please listen. I'm telling you this from knowledge. Okay? I'm not meaning this to be scary. I'm meaning this to be preparation, because I've had anxiety attacks before. I'm diagnosed on paper with PTSD, which I do 100% believe is CPTSD. That just wasn't a thing back when I was diagnosed with it. So I'm diagnosed with PTSD. Extreme anxiety, which most people don't even know, is an actual diagnosis. I have such bad anxiety, they have to label it extreme anxiety. I've dealt with anxiety attacks. I've had 4, maybe 5 over the years. I was first diagnosed when I was 8. Had some issues that happened to me when I was 8 years old, and it really fucked my head up. And then I had I had continued issues for years afterwards that were slightly caused because of the issues I already had. Issues lead to other issues. We talk about it all the time. You guys have all heard. Tonight we talked about narcissism. Well, that quite often leads to abuse, quite often leads to, as the victim, PTSD, anxiety, depression, all sorts of stuff. Well, the one I had just this past Sunday, out of nowhere, hit me like a ton of bricks. I was having a great day that day. And it just smoked me like somebody just walked and punched me in the face out of nowhere. It took me 2 hours to calm down. I had a 2-hour-long anxiety attack. Thought I was going to pass out. And once I was able to get to my feet, try to splash some water in my face, this and that, exactly like Llewellyn was talking about, I forgot everything I know. For all of y'all that don't know me, hi, I'm just Matthew. I used to run for 3 years an outreach group over on TikTok. I'm good with mental health. I know a lot of information. It's why I volunteer to help here with Llewellyn. I forgot everything I ever knew about mental health. I didn't know what to do. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I love that. Couldn't think of 5. I forgot everything. Breathe in through your nose for, I think it's 5 seconds, and breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. Completely forgot it. Couldn't control my own breathing. I was hyperventilating. I was literally sitting there grasping my bathroom sink, thinking, you know this shit. Fix yourself. How do you fix this? And I couldn't think of a thing. It's scary as hell, y'all. Even if you're prepared, that it can hit you like a ton of bricks. And suddenly you are not prepared for nothing. So you know what a great thing to have is? Some sort of outreach. Like a Friday and Saturday Night Live on Mama Lou. With Mama Lou. On Mama Lou's account right here. Great spot to have. Because even if I didn't know Llewellyn, even if I couldn't have called her because I know her after I had that to help calm me down, you know what I could have done? I could have come in here tonight being just some rando, come into her mental health live and listen to people like Llewellyn, people like, me, people like all of you here in the comments that have been talking this whole live, and just make it realize, doing this, we can make a perfect stranger realize, they don't go through all that stuff that they feel like alienates them. They don't go through it all alone. They don't. We all feel alone at times, but the fact that we all feel alone shows that none of us are alone. Prove me wrong. You can't. All of us get sad about stuff. All of us have had days where we felt like it was the end of the world and we could not go on. But if you're hearing me say this, guess what? You were wrong. You moved on. You've made it here, right now, to this point. Some days it's really hard to do that. But up to this point, you've done it. You're here. That day you thought you couldn't make it through, you made it through. Our goal here on the Mental Health Line, help all of you hopefully remember something you might have heard in one of these lives to get you through that next day that you feel like you're not going to get through. To hear that, hey, this aggressive positivity guy over here that, loves mental health. I have bad days too. Llewellyn just told you guys all about her recent doctor appointment. That shows, Llewellyn, I mean this in no offense, she's broken like the rest of us. She's got problems too, y'all. We're not up here saying, hey, listen to us, we're perfect, we know how to fix it. No, I'm not even going to finish that statement because it's bullcrap. I'm doing my best with the language.
I appreciate that.
Yes, broken crayons still color. I love analogies. That's a great one. Broken crayons can still color.
I'd like to go back to a couple of comments that said something about ants. I didn't know about ants. So
yeah, sorry, I got babbling.
Nope.
I didn't read a single comment. So
That's
while you're
fine.
talking, I'm going to catch up.
That's fine. So ANTS stand for Automated Negative Thought Syndromes. And I found that actually on a YouTube channel. Oh, Lord, I can't tell you who it is now, but she had said it. And I was like, oh, my stars, that fits me. And that was back in 2014 or 2015. And it stuck with me so much so that I wrote it in my books. So I have books on Amazon. It's the Tiny Steps to Success series. And it really helps analyze or focus on the negative and then go, okay, the negative is lying to me. Those ants are there. And I literally picture these little black ants and I want to squish them. So if one tells me that I'm not smart, I can turn around, write it down in my journal, say I'm not smart. And then on the other side of it, say how I am smart of whatever it is. Well, you're doing this mental health live alone. You're not smart. You shouldn't really be doing that. No, I'm not smart, but I'm smart enough to know that people need to know they're not alone. And so, yes, on that aspect, I am smart. I didn't go to college to do this, but I live it. And I think having the living knowledge of it is just as important as having the book knowledge of it.
Judy, the intrusive thoughts, that's ants.
That's
just
the ants.
That's exactly what we mean. What most people would know as intrusive thoughts, those are ants. Automatic negative thought syndrome. They're the thoughts we don't want, the thoughts that intrude on our wonderful picnic like little tiny ants. Automatic negative thought syndrome. Usually I'd be putting in the comments for anybody to screenshot right now, but I'm up in a box. So
where's your wife?
Keep saying automatic negative thought syndrome.
And
it's ants. We all do it.
Yeah, we all have it. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It is just fact of life, and we have to learn how to deal with it. And one of the things that I always tell people is journal. You want to have the negative on one side and the positive on the other. So get those ants written down and then put the positive of it and then cross out like you're stepping on them. Thank you, Dawn. Like you're stomping on them, cross it out and focus on the positive and keep saying the positive, like affirmations. I've always taught about affirmations, which is also in my book, but I'm not here to tell you that I know all the answers because I don't have all the answers. I'm here to tell you that I'm not alone and neither are you.
And I always like to add in when you mention the journaling, that doesn't mean you have to get a notebook, y'all, and write everything down. That's what Llewellyn likes to do. I'm a video journal kind of guy. Content even can be a video journal. Rant about something on a video, even if you don't want to post the rant. Warning, if you're ranting about stuff you're really upset about, probably not best to post it. There's a fine line between a good rant and just an angry guy that needs to be blocked or reported. So walk that line carefully. But if you're going to make a video, for lack of a better term, bitching about something to get it off your chest, make it. Rewatch it. That's one of the best. A journal, you can go back and reread a journal, right? Sometimes makes you feel better to understand, what you were going through, to listen to your own words. You can do the same thing with a video, y'all. Journaling can be lots of different things. It can be writing things down. It can be video recording. It can be a voice recording on your phone.
Yes, it can.
Make little voice clips. We all have the little notebook features on our phones. Make little voice clips. That can be your journal.
And I actually used that one night. I was involved in a clapper thing on here, and they wanted me to join under health and wellness. And I thought, okay, they said, you can share whatever you want, poems or whatever. So I had the poem that I was going to read out of my book of Abuse It Is What It Is. And I thought, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Like a day or two before I was supposed to be up in the clapper thing, God woke me up in the middle of the night, 10, 11 o'clock at night, right? I go to bed at 9. So about 10, 11 o'clock at night, dead asleep, wakes me up, says, you need to write this. And I'm like, oh my God, no, I don't want to get up. My pen and paper at that time was on my table. I wasn't leaving my bedroom to go get it. And God's like nudging me. I literally felt like he was nudging my head going, you got to write this. You've got to write this. And so I wrote the poem using my phone. And I'm sitting here and I'm doing this. I'm trying to write it. And so the next day I told my husband about it, and he goes, well, if God said it, you gotta read it there, right? So I typed it up, I printed it out, and it's actually pinned on my profile in here. It's called Unremember. And let me tell you, that hit so hard when I reread it that it took every strength I had not to show tears. I mean, it just hit hard. And I can honestly say it did not come from me. It came from God, because there was no way I could have written unremember when it's not even really a word.
It's funny you mentioned it, because I was going to mention something about one of your poems being up that is helpful with mental health being pinned, because I also have 2 poems of mine pinned on my account.
Yes, you do.
That, again, are just personal mental health stuff for me.
Yeah.
One is called How I Feel. One is called What I Know. And there is a difference between the 2, y'all.
There is. It was good, by the way. I watched them. Yes, music does talk.
I love when music. I had the long beard.
Yes. I like listening to music. My youngest granddaughter that I babysit for, her favorite thing to tell me is, Mammy. I'm Mammy. She says, Mammy, I need to listen to some God music. Will you put some God music on? So my favorite go-to is K-Love. And she'll sit there and she'll listen to a few songs, and she goes off to play, and I hear her singing her own songs about God. And it's just amazing listening to her. And so then I don't know if she knows that I need it, or if she needs it when I need it, but I'm telling you, it's like she can read my mind or body language or something. She says, Mammy, I need some Jesus music.
One I've been listening to a lot on like Pandora or iHeartRadio or anything like that is Toby Mac Radio. It's very upbeat Christian music. Like if they were going to open a Christian nightclub, they'd play Toby Mac.
All right, guys. So it's probably coming into a close here. Is there any questions that you guys may have about either narcissist or the anxiety that we talked about? Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I know. I remember you telling me you've seen him in concert. I'm jealous, Rebel. I've seen quite a few Christian artists in concert. Toby Mac's one I'd love to see.
And just so you know, this is me practicing patience because I really don't have any.
No, Llewellyn has great patience, y'all. You know where she has none? Exactly what she's practicing right now. She has no patience when she is on a live and she asks all of you in the comments a question. She cannot, like, she just expects that you guys are going to answer immediately like you already knew the question. You just had the answer ready and typed, just waiting to hit send. She has no patience in waiting for answers in the chat. But we're going to guess that everybody is good, since even my wife is down there. No questions going once, going twice.
All right. So before we end it here, let me end it over here first. For those of you here on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, please make sure you put it in the chat. Please make sure that you subscribe and like, and remember that you are not alone. I will be back next Friday. Thank you very much for being here, and I will talk to you soon.